Shalom, call Haloyim, La Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Shalom to you fellow laborers out there doing the work in truth and in sincerity, especially during these times. Shalom to the few Akwakim that believe as well. A hearty shalom to you other laborers and believers that are scattered throughout the face of the earth, whether you be among the heathen and even like the heathen who are speckled bird Israelites, to the whole household of faith, which is the elect. I want to say shalom. Great fear fell upon them which saw them. And, you know, this is a video I caught. This is a Judite. You know, he got several channels. This is one of his channels, Emancipation Media. He used to have one called the African Diaspora. I mean, you Akim out there should be familiar with this Jake. He always make videos about oppression and things that Jake go through, which is a direct result of the curses that are upon our nation for being disobedient to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, about what? Not keeping the Lord's laws, commandments, and statutes and judgments, which are written within that covenant that the Lord made between himself and our forefathers. All right, so ultimately, we're going through the things we're going through because of these curses, and the curses came because of our iniquities. All right, as is written in Amos the 3rd chapter, right? When you go to Amos the 3rd chapter, which I'll get real quick, it says this, the book of Amos 3:1, it says, hear this word that the Lord, Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, all right, Yasha Allah, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, the house of bondage, right? Saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. All right, which, we had sins upon sins, okay? And the Lord ultimately got wroth with us and removed us, or cast us out of his sight, which is the land of Israel, okay? Where we've been scattered, and these curses came upon us as a result, okay? And what's going on now is that the Lord has wakened his people up, all right, from the deep sleep that we've been in, all right, and awaken us into this knowledge, okay? And now that the great awakening took place, and you see, you see us, going out to the highways and hedges, all right, doing the video epistles by way of the internet, primarily the YouTube, all right, and other platforms we use. It's putting the heathen in fear, and the heathen I'm talking about in particular is the top heathen that's in the ruling seat, which is the nation of Esau, Edom. All right, the Edomites, they're in fear. All right, because when you go to 2nd Esdras 6, okay, it speaks about Esau being the end of the world. Okay, let's read it. 2nd Esdras 6 and 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of times, right, or changing of times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth, right? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. All right. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. See? So when you go into the birth of the children that was from the loins of Isaac and was pushed through the womb of Rebekah, Esau coming out first and then Jacob taking hold on his heel, that was symbolic of Esau's kingdom, all right, being established, and then the kingdom that will be established after Esau's kingdom is the kingdom of Jacob, all right, whose name changed to Israel. Okay, And that's what's going on. All right. Esau is going down. All right. And Jacob is coming up. And this is the reason why the Great Awakening, all right, is so important, because that fulfills prophecy. All right. That fulfilled prophecy pursuant to Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, Revelation 11, which I'm going to get, all right, both of those in a second, all right, or in a little bit. And then you also got precepts like Hosea 1 and 10. Okay? And there's other precepts, and Lord willing, I get the ones that come to my mind, all right? But I want to play this clip and let you hear what's going on, because Esau is really scared. See? Esau is really nervous. Okay? And you got to think, with all this World War tension going on, we can't lose sight that the persecution is going to come. Which Lord willing, I'm going to touch on that as well. Everything is exciting right now. We see the World War III, all right, is pretty much happening. Okay? It's heating up, right? We see the MOTB coming to fruition. So we see the prophecies speaking, all right? The prophecies are speaking louder than ever before. And it's exciting, but we got to keep in mind, too, a part of prophecy is that the saints will be persecuted. And that starts with the men of the Lord, all right? The ones that fear Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So without any further ado, let's play the clip first. All right, again, I want to say fair use. My videos are not monetized, of course. I don't make any money off these videos, only for biblical educational purposes and edification, building up of the body of Yahweh Shai. So fair use, fair use. All right, let's jump right into it.
There you go, Gaston Cannon. This has been on NAC for 2 years now.
Now notice it says, why white people are so afraid of black unity. Well, it goes back to J. Edgar Hoover. He said the number one threat to the national security of America is Negro unity. Okay? And this is why that devil, he was a part of the operation to destroy, all right, in particular the so-called Negro, which is the tribe of Judah, the head tribe of the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, the so-called Negro, the so-called black, the so-called African American here in America. Right? The unity of Judah scares Esau, especially because, see, Judah plays a part of prophecy where the Lord said what? It says that, matter of fact, I'll get that. All right, let's go to Genesis 49. Genesis 49 and 8. Judah, thou art he whom thine brethren shall praise. Thine hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. See, thy father's children shall bow down before thee. See, Judah is the head tribe, man. And see, Judah is going to be the ones that the Lord is going to rile up to lead the rest of us tribes. Okay? That's why the Lord said he would raise the tents of Judah first. All right, many of us northern tribes that came into this knowledge, we learned from an Israelite of the tents of Judah, whether it be Judah, Benjamin, Levi. Primarily, we learned through them. Okay, for the most part. So it says, but that's it on there. That's all I want to read on that. Okay. All right, let's go back here. Play a little more. I'm going to play it back a little bit. Here we go.
The white man in particular. Let's go ahead and check that out.
There you go, Gaston Cannon. This has been on NAC for 2 years now.
You notice he said they've been doing this for 2 years now. And it's probably a branch of the IUIC that's by him. It says IUIC Miami, so it's down in Florida. Okay? This devil, he been watching them for over 2 years. Okay? And they out there marching and doing little marching, little drills. And, I'll say this. That's for me. I don't agree with this marching little thing they got going on. I mean, the only thing we supposed to be doing is just teaching the word, man. Go out to the highways and hedges. Do your videos, all right? Your daily videos, right? That's it. All these other things are just gimmicks. Oh, look at the mighty purple and gold. They marching. They in good cadence. That's really not necessary. Okay? And this is going to give... Well, Esau going to use this. He's going to use this and portray it to the world as a military or a militia group. So it's really unwise to be doing this, to say the least, man. And the scriptures say what? Covet to prophesy, man. Let's get that. Covet to prophesy. All right. 1 Corinthians chapter 14 to 39. Wherefore, brethren, covet to prophesy and forbid not to speak with tongues. So when you covet, right, let's look this up, covet. And it says, verse 4, y'all, let all things be done decently and in order. All right. And to be doing the marching thing, it's just really just something you could just leave out, man. Okay. But let's look at the word covet. Because, the Greek word is zelu or zelua. Let me see.
Strong's G 2206. Zelao. Zelao.
Zelao.
Thayer's Lexicon, related entry. Zeluo. Zeluo.
It says to burn with zeal. All right. To be heated or to boil with envy, hatred, and anger. In the good sense, to be zealous in the pursuit of good. To desire, earnestly pursue. Okay. What are we pursuing? What or earnestly doing? Prophesying to the Lord's sheep, which is what? Foretelling them of things to come. Okay? So that's really all you're supposed to be doing. Go out to the highways and hedges. All right, doing the work out there, doing your videos of your daily epistles that you put out. But that's it, man. All the the cadence and the marching, that's really, it's really unwise to do, because that bringing unwanted attention that you can see upon yourself. Okay, let's continue on.
From or every week. This is a cult church. The old outlaws used to be. They're chanting, yelling, screaming.
And Esau gonna demonize you any fucking way. Esau's the fucking devil. He's gonna demonize you no matter what. But this is like, oh look, and you see other like them Edomite militia groups, right? The so-called white militia groups. They be in formation and doing cadences and stuff like that. They're gonna lump us all in the same boat. Oh yeah, those BHIs, the slander term they call us, black. Well, you got all the tribes out here, but they're gonna put that black on there, black Hebrew Israelites, right? So it's already slander to begin with. Let's continue on.
This is not a church that worships God. Spreading hate, intimidation.
Look, spreading hate. Remember they call us that Southern Poverty Law Center? Extremist hate groups is what we've been labeled as. Okay? And Esau's going to roll on us, man. You got to understand and know that Esau's going to roll on us because we're against his society. We're against his wicked kingdom. Because it's unrighteous society. And we stand for righteousness. And the two don't go together. See? That's why it says what? They hated him. All right. Amos 5 and 10. I believe it's Amos 5:10. It says they hated him that rebuked in the gate, right? Pull it up real quick. Amos 5 and verse 10. Yeah, it says they hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. Right. They abhor us because why? We're against their wickedness that they commit before our very eyes. And when somebody ain't right and ain't trying to get right, which we know the Edomites ain't gonna never get right. But I'm saying, like, even our people that's partaking in this wicked society, when you try to correct them and they don't want to be corrected, what's the next step? They come against you, to speak evil against you. You know? So this is where we at. This is where we at, okay? They abhor him that speaketh uprightly. Why? Because the spirit that's within and them, in particular the Edomites, is not upright in them. Okay? Because the Lord created them to be the wicked. Okay? And that's all they spread throughout the earth is wickedness. Okay? And when you speak against that, you make yourself an enemy. All right? Which we already enemies, right? Let me get that real quick. Isaiah 59. Isaiah 59 verse 15, and it reads, "Yea, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey." See? So when you depart from evil, you no longer partaking in this society because you see what it is, and so you against it. All right, as far as you Israelites, are out there that the Lord brought into the fold. Once you departed from this evil world, the world hate you. Because why? It hated our Lord first. And we represent, all right, we represent Yahweh Shah down here. See, Yahweh Shah was not liked. Okay? Of course not by the Edomites, but even his own people rejected him, which is the Israelites, so-called Negroes, okay, Latinos and Native American people that reject the Lord. You represent the ones that was at Jerusalem that rejected Yahweh Shah when he was on the scene. All right? And that's the reason why you come up against us even. Again, we represent Yahweh Shah down here. Okay? It says, "And the Lord saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment." See? So, this is why, we are hated. All right? Yahweh Shah said, "Know that if the world hates you, it hated me first." See? And this is a part of bearing our cross and following Yahweh Shah. We got to arm ourselves like-minded to be going through sufferings like Yahweh Shah did, because he's our master and we're his servants. And we're not greater than him. Now, the elder Gabaria made a good point in class. He was like, Yahweh Shah, made the path easier for us to walk down. And that's very true. And, he said an analogy, which it was a good analogy. Which, I ain't gonna get all into it, but the point is Yahweh Shah laid the path and foundation for us to walk therein and to stay a course and stay the course even unto death. All right, for some of us. We just gotta follow that path. Okay? So let's continue on. Let me play the rest of the clip. I ain't even got through the clip yet. Again, fair use, fair use.
They only recognize themselves. How are we allowing this to happen, yes? Listen to these chants. This is not the military. You can't steal our cadences and turn them into hate. That's not how it works. Israel United Christian Church. That's for sure. But not for Christ. Wake up, sheep.
And you know, this devil, all right, this, you know, he just butthurt. Edomites just butthurt, man. First of all, no, you know, that's why that title, IUIC, Israel, you know, Israel United in Christ, that's a bad fucking title, man. All right, but this devil, he just mad because he's afraid of what's going on. All right, see, Jake is not out there fighting and doing all kind of nigga shit. They're being organized. All right, you know, and they not causing any harm to no one, but it's just the point that fear is upon these Edomites because the Lord, all right, has caused his people to awaken to this knowledge. Okay, Revelation 11:11, it says, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. See? And that's exactly what this video clip is about. That devil was he's in great fear watching just the IUIC alone. Why? Because anything Jake do to better themselves or be amongst themselves, whatever they're doing, Esau don't like that because he don't have an inside look at what's going on. Though there be agents among us, see, but they're gonna say all manner of things against us because why? This truth, this knowledge that we have, is frightening to our enemies, these heathen. All right, beginning with Esau. It's frightening to see so-called Negroes gathered together, and the so-called white men ain't involved. And it's crazy because they'll cause a black Hebrew Israelite group. You got Israelites that look like so-called white people, all right, Edomites, but they're Israelites. They don't never tell you that part, okay? But they'll just keep the black term on it. But let's continue on, right? Great fear fell upon them which saw them. Why? Because the Lord is setting his people in order before their eyes, and they don't like it. They don't like it, man. Let's get that. Psalms 50. Psalms 50, and I started 19. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frame of deceit. Right? Because this same dude was, you hear what he's saying? 2 years of this. Spreading hate, right? all the fucking things you done, Esau, to our people, and still are doing, but yet you accuse them of hate. All right, whatever. Let's continue on. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frame of deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. Which, that's talking about Jacob and Esau. Rebekah loved Jacob, remember? She didn't give a damn about Esau. All right, verse 21. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Because one thing about us, we're being slandered, right? Southern Poverty Law Center, the ADL, Anti-Defamation League, all right? Hell, the U.S. government itself, they had a council a few years back, and guess who's the council about? Extremist groups, and guess who was in there, or on that list rather? Israelite camps. All right, remember the persecution is going to come. You know, these things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Though thou, it says, thou thoughtest that I was altogether such an one as thyself, but I will reprove thee, all right, and set them in order before thine eyes. So the Lord is reproving you, Esau, by using us, All right. The Lord is setting us in order before your eyes, and you don't like it. We're coming out to the highways and hedges, and even these video epistles under the banner of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And that alone is dreadful to you heathen, man. See? And we're not a carnal army. We're a spiritual army. Okay? And scripture say what? In fact, let me get that. See if I can get that real quick. See, I might be in the wrong chapter, Shlaki. Okay. Yep. 2 Corinthians 10:4. I put 4 and 10. It says, 2 Corinthians 10:4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, to the pulling down of strongholds. All right. And how our works mighty? Because we bring down these strongholds of religions and indoctrination that our people are into. All right. We're tearing them down through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai by telling them the truth. See? Verse 5, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of the Most High, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach, and having the readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. And we're just rebuking everything that go on in society that's wicked. Okay? And everything that's a lie, we expose it by what? Bringing out the truth about it. Okay? So let's go from there. I'm going to go to the book of Ezekiel 37, right? Because like I said, we're a spiritual army, right? Let's see here. This is the book of Ezekiel. Excuse me. Ezekiel chapter 37. Let's see here. Let me get this real quick, Bob Shaw. Bear me 1 second. All right, yeah, cut. Right to the verse. Okay, here we go. Ezekiel 37 and verse 9. Then said he unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus said the Lord, power, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. See? And that breath, which we can look the word breath up. All right, let's go here. Racha. The word breath is racha, which means spirit. All right, wind, breath, mind, spirit. It just simply means spirit. All right. Because remember, in the same chapter, right, it was like the nation of Israel until dead bones or dry bones. Okay. which became a living vessel, all right, or living flesh. Why? Because the spirit of life, all right, entered into us. Okay. See, spirit, animation, bigger, prophetic spirit. Yep, spirit of the living, breathing being in man, all right, animals, as gift preserved by the Most High, the Most High Spirit. All right. So yeah, that's the point, man. And the Lord said what? That man shall not live on bread alone, but every word, right? Let me get that. It's Luke 4:4. And Yahushua answered him, saying, it is written that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word of the Most High. See, that's what's been interesting to us. The Lord has given us this truth. See? As it's written that the Lord is going to make us of what? Of quick understanding. All right? That's why it says, awake, awake, put on thy beautiful garments, O Zion. Hey, the garments represents what? This knowledge, man. See, without this knowledge, we're dead. Because why? It says that he that wandered out of the way of understanding, right? Let me get that. Because this is what happened to us as a nation. Proverbs 21:16. The man that wandered out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. And see, our understanding came from what? Keeping the laws, commandments, statutes, and judgments, which will make us wise. All right, let me get that real quick. All right, I'm going to come back to Ezekiel 37. Bear with me. Deuteronomy 4:5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yahweh my power commanded me that ye should do so in the land whither you go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. See? And see, we wandered out of the way of that understanding that the Lord gave us, which is what? The laws, commandments, statutes, and judgments, man. All right, so again, it says, Proverbs 21:16, the man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. That's what happened to Jacob, Israel, right? The whole nation, right? That's what Jacob, all right, whose name changed to Israel, all right, it represents what? The nation of Israel, the Israelites. That's what happened to us as a nation, man. We wandered out of the way of understanding, and that's why we were likening to, dry bones, man. Okay? So when the word of the Most High entered into us, we became a living vessel. Okay? Ezekiel 37 and verse 9. Then said he unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus said the Lord, power, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. Okay? So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, the word of the Most High. All right, we was filled with the word of the Most High, which that washed us from this world, man. Okay? That's what baptized us. All right, the word. It cleansed us, it cleanses us, all right, the more we get into it from this world that we were in. See, the Lord brought us out from among, all right, the world, that we may serve him. Because the Lord has an elect, and that's who he's dealing with. Lord, willing, I'm a part of the elect, and the rest of you sincere Akim out there. Okay? And the elect is, all right, is going to be delivered, man. And the elect cannot be plucked out of the Father's hand. Okay? The elect is the remnant that when you go to the book of Isaiah, the 10th chapter, it's not going to stay upon him that smote us, man. Which is who? Esau. Okay? So it says, so I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived and stood upon their feet, an exceeding great army. So when the word of the Most High entered into us, we became like unto an army. Because why? We're standing out there fighting the good fight of faith in this spiritual war, where you have good versus evil, righteous versus unrighteousness. All right, and when you go to the scriptures, it tell you that. I believe that's Sirach 33, if I ain't mistaken. The Lord had made things 2 and 2, I believe. Let me see here. Yeah, come. Sirach 33 and 15. So look upon all the works. Matter of fact, let's start up. Slack it. Start up. All right. 13. As the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it at his pleasure, so man is in the hand of him that made him, to render to them as liking him best. Yeah, we are the Most High's creation, man. All right, he's the potter. We're his clay. Okay, verse 14. Good is set against evil, and life against death. See, through this ministry that we're a part of, it leads our people into life. You know, which only a few going to enter in therein. See, most of our people are going to perish on this side. Okay, that's what it means. The Most High gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in Him shall not perish. But in fact, let me get that. All right, John 3:16 says, "For the Most High so loved the world," which we know that world is talking about the world of Israel. All right, going back to what? The harmonious arrangement, which is harmonious arrangement, is the same same thing as a covenant or agreement. Okay, because this word "world" means what? Cosmos. That cosmos means what? A harmonious arrangement. When you look, matter of fact, let's look it up, because we know who the Lord made a covenant with. The Lord didn't make a covenant with everybody. The Lord made a covenant with His people. All right, the word there is cosmos. You see that harmonious arrangement, right? See? Cosmos. All right. Now, when you look at the word, it says an app in harmonious arrangement or constitution, order, or government, right? This word harmonious arrangement, when you look it up, all right, all right, let's see what we got here. Harmonious arrangement. What Miriam got? Having agreement among music components, musically coordinate, having the parts agreeably related. Says synonyms. Canorious, euphonious, melodious. Let me see here. Gotta look for more. All right. Gotta dig for it, you know. Definitely gotta dig for it, because they ain't gonna just tell it to you. You gotta dig for it. Let's see. Let's see what the AI say. This can apply to various contexts, such as musical compositions, visual design, relationships. Relationship, well, let's see, should be more to it. Should be more to it, but you know, you gotta dig for these things. All right. Okay. Harmonious. Collins Dictionary. Let's check this Collins Dictionary out. I like it's more accurate. Let's see what it's talking about. Whenever it loads up. Okay. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna load up. All right, there we go. Okay. I mean, it's pretty. Look, okay, harmonious. A harmonious relationship, agreement, See, agreement is another word for covenant. Okay, or testament. Okay. In fact, it says agreement or discussion is friendly and peaceful. All right, agreement. All right, agreement. Look at that, harmony. That's where harmonious come from. Harmony. Let's look at some more words up. Harmony. Look at that, arrangement. Promise. Confirmation. Make agreeable. You know what? Let's go. I'm gonna go deeper. Okay. Agreement. Let's look it up. Okay. Mutual understanding. Mutual conformity. To please. Formal or documentary agreement. Which, hey, that's what happened. The Lord made an agreement, a covenant with his people. To give consent, assent, to please, satisfy, to receive with favor. You know, it's on point. All right. Come to agreement. Look at that. Mixed settlement. To be in harmony in opinions. Okay. Check this out. Let's look up the word covenant. Okay. Look. No contract. Covenant. Mutual compact to do or not to do something. Contract. See, agreement. Agreement, pact, promise. See? To agree. There you go. Look, to enter into a formal agreement or contract. The Lord made an agreement or contract between himself and the children of Israel. Can't get around that, man. Okay. John 3:16, for the Most High so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Okay. See, we preach the words that lead unto everlasting life, man. The word preach means prophesy. Okay. We are here telling you, the way to salvation. Okay. And Esau wants you to remain in the congregation of the dead, meaning what? Be spiritually, mentally dead, and to keep assimilating into his society. Keep remaining lost. Okay. Because when the sheep doesn't have a shepherd, they don't have no guidance. They don't have nothing, man. They're lost, and they're subject to be devoured. All right, by the predators, being what? The other nations. Okay. So, let's go back to Ezekiel, which I finished that up. Okay. So again, all right, the Lord is pretty much showing the whole world who are his people, man. All right, and that's the scary thing to these devils, man. They don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that the Lord, all right, died for you. They don't want you to know that the promises was made for you. All right, the covenants, right, the promises and giving of the law and the service of the Most High. They don't want you to know that's for you. And this is why they're scared. See? And whether you sincere or not, but I'm gonna say this, right? I'm gonna speak to the ones that are not sincere. You're gonna be rolled on too. The ones you that's not sincere, you put the garment on, right? See, when Esau come down on the camps, because that's still a part of prophecy, that the persecution is going to come. Ain't no, no, I ain't with them. No, Esau gonna roll on your ass. Okay? Because you've been playing fucking games. You've been playing around. Those of you that's not teaching the 100% truth, you're leaving out things like the MOTB, Jacob's Time of Trouble. All right? Those of you that's you know, speaking against, you know, the Lord's men because you just butthurt about whatever you butthurt about. That's really, you know, something that's silly. And if you would do like a man, you know, things that go well will be better for you. You know, you ones that turned your back on the plow. Esau still got your ass, all right, on his hit list. So when he roll on you, okay, don't look like a deer in the headlights. Okay? Let's get this real quick. Go here. This is the book of Second Esdras. All right. 16 and 70. All right, because what's going to happen is, hey, you're going to have the time is going to come where you're going to have to put up a shut up as far as concerning faith. Okay? Second Ezra 16 and 70. For there should be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Okay? They shall be like madmen, sparing none. Why? Why? Their whole thing is to come against us, the ones that know the truth. And for, like I said, for you ones that's not sincere, you're gonna be in the same boat. All right, they're gonna be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling, destroying their those. I'm sorry, that fear the Lord. Right, that's the enemy coming like a flood. Okay, let's get that. Isaiah 59 and 19. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, shall lift up a standard against him, which is what? That's spiritual powers, man. Okay? That is spiritual powers. The Lord is going to give his men spiritual powers. And there's plenty of precepts to prove that. Matter of fact, one come to mind, I think that's Isaiah 40. I think Isaiah 40 come to mind, which says that they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Let's see if I can get that. Let me see. Yeah, Isaiah 40 and 31. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Why? Because of spiritual powers. Okay? Getting that extraterrestrial body. You know? Ultimately, when we changed, you know. But we're gonna be lifted up, man. The Lord gonna give us power, man. To you know, fight against our enemies, man. See, the Lord right now has us as fishers right now. But when it's hunting season and the Lord turns to hunters of men, when we give them the spiritual power, we're gonna actually hunt down people, man. This is a part of it, man. Second Esdras 16 and verse 59. It says, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. See? So that's what's going to come upon us. All right? We got to go through that adversity because we can't get into the kingdom no other way. We got to go through that tribulation, all right, as the scriptures tell us in Acts 14. I'm going to get it here, Acts 14 and 22, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of the Most High. All right, which is what? Trouble. All right, or suffering. Let's look at the word tribulation. All right. The word tribulation says pressing together, a metaphor for oppression, affliction, tribulation, distress, straits. So the affliction, Jacob's time of trouble, all right, it's going to come, man. Look at the Strong's definition. It says tribulation, affliction, trouble. Well, the scriptures speak about Jacob's time of trouble, which is a time of trouble for all the tribes, right? All the 12 tribes of Jacob. But it starts with the men of the Lord. Because we're the main ones whom they got their eyes set up on, because we're the ones that don't agree. We're the ones that's sighing and crying for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. See, the whole nation ain't sighing and crying. The majority of our people are into this society. They with this kingdom. But we yearning and hasten the day of our Lord, Yahweh Shai. To return and redeem us from our enemies, man. That oppress us and commit all kind of atrocities against us. Let me get this real quick. All right, this is Second Esdras, chapter 7. I start 18. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things and hope for wide. But it says, for they that have done wickedly have suffered the straight things, and yet shall not see the wide. See, and this us, man. See, we're the righteous that suffer in these straight. See, we understand why we suffering, man. And straight means difficult things, man. We suffering because this is part of bearing our cross and following Yahweh Shai, man, which is necessary. Okay, suffering is necessary. If you don't understand that or know that, you should get to understand and know that. You're going to suffer. We all have to suffer. Ain't no other way except for the straight gate. Shit. And that's the beautiful thing about it. You're suffering all these things, but the reward, all right, the compensation you're going to get for suffering these things for righteousness' sake, and and for to do the will of the Lord, right? The reward, the compensation we're going to get is far greater. Because the ones that's doing wickedly right now, they're not going to see the wide, man. Which was really right now, that's going to be salvation when they come. See, they ain't got no hope. Our people in the world ain't got no hope. Their hope is that America continue on, man, and get better in their minds. And our mind is the total opposite. We agree with the Heavenly Father, all right, and His Son. We agree with Yahweh Yahweh Shai. Excuse me. And the judgment that's set in stone for this place you call America, which the Lord is going to destroy this place. So we agree with the Lord. You know, we want what the Lord is going to perform upon this place. All right, we want to see the fall of our enemies that persecuted us and oppressed us and you know, and did all kind of heinous acts against us. There's so many atrocities against us by these goddamn devils, man. It's not even funny, man. You know? But hey, you know, Jake is cool with that. All right? But it's gonna come a point in time where you're gonna be pointed out, man. And when that happens, you gotta be ready, man. All right? You gotta be ready to deal with that. All right? Let's get this real quick. Let's see here. This is Matthew. No, matter of fact, not that one. Let's get another one. Because they're going to accuse us. All right. They're going to accuse us. All right. Yeah, let's get that. Yeah, con. Yeah. Matthew 26, it says the subheading is Peter's denials. All right, which, you know, Peter was the head apostle. Okay. It says Matthew 26:69. Now Peter sat without in the palace, and a damsel came unto him, saying, Thou also was with Yahushua of Galilee. Right? And they gonna come on us like this too. Hey, don't y'all preach Yahushua? Verse 70, but he denied before them all, saying, I know not what thou sayest. And when he was going out into the porch, another maid saw him and said unto them that were there, This fellow was also with Yahushua of Nazareth. And again he denied with an oath, I do not know the man. And see, hey, it's gonna come to a point where we're gonna be put on blast about this. Hey, ain't y'all Israelites? What y'all be preaching about? Yahushua and, you know, this, that, and the third. And we gotta pray that Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua keep that spirit on us to stand strong in that day. You know? That's why the scriptures speak about them that stood so stiffly, all right, for the name of the Lord, right? Let's get this real quick. What was the? I just had the mind Shalakia. Oh yeah, come. Okay, here we go. Okay. All right, this is the book of Matthew 10, and starting at verse 17. It says, but beware, but beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues, and ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. See? So we're gonna be done the same way. All right? We're gonna be brought before these governors, man, these rulers of the people, and you know, and we're gonna be brought up on charges of being insurrectionists, treason, whatever, man. All right, this is what we up against. Because these people know who we are. So you gotta be prepared to deal with what comes. This is a part of counting the cost. When you put that garment on and you go out to the highways and hedges, do you really believe in what you're doing? You know? Because when you start to snatch brothers up, all right, you're gonna have a spirit of you're gonna have the spirit of man, you got to have the spirit to stand stiffly, man. Okay, Revelation 2:10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. All right, because we're going to suffer some things, Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So some of us are going to be thrown into prison. And this is a part of I'm keep saying it, bearing your cross. All right, do you know what bearing your cross is all about? Let me see. Let me see. Okay. Let me see. Let's jump down here. Back in Matthew 10:21. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. Okay? You gotta remember that. Hey, Yahweh Shah said a man's foe can be or is gonna be, they of his own household. All right, which is his own family, man. Your own family can deliver you up to these goddamn devils. You gotta be prepared to deal with that. See? Verse 22, and you gotta think, hey, it says that because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Okay? Esau offered them a little bag and they took it. Right? It says, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endured to the end shall be saved. So, we're up against a lot, man. But through everything, we gotta hope and we gotta believe that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah is going to deliver us from all these things. All right, I think my window's down. Let me finish up though. Let me grab this for real quick. 2nd Ezra 16 and 74. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide. See, that's all you gotta do, man. You gotta just believe that Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah is gonna deliver you from these troubles. All right, that's the fulfillment of Sirach 4:28. Strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for you. So with that, I'm gonna end it right there. All praises and glory be unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Rakak Wadash. Hey, shalom to the next time, and I'll see you in the next video. Lord willing, shalom.